Are live. Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 on the Aligned Living podcast with Kathleen Galadley, who is me. Welcome to those who are listening to this, and welcome to those who are watching this on catch up, and welcome to those who are here live today. Hi, Albert. Hello, Livy. Shame. I hope you're feeling better. Everyone's been having this bug that's been going around. Hi, Anna. Welcome, everyone. Jill, welcome. We will give it a few moments and just wait for Ez to arrive and jump on the call. I'm very excited for today's conversation. I've actually done one of these with Ez before, probably about a year ago already, which is pretty crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. And I'm just so excited to catch up with her here live, to hear what she's been up to. The work she's doing is absolutely amazing. And we will be chatting about all things woman, career, moving forward in life in a way with abundance and confidence, and just, Ezlyn is such a queen at all of this. She's a powerhouse. She's got so many years of experience. It's a treat to have her here. So, here she is. Welcome, Ez. Let's get you on. Should be popping up. I hope that my Wi-Fi holds. We are, of course, in load shedding. So my lights should be coming on soon as well. I know Ez is in load shedding right now. Hey, babes.
Hello, hello, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Good. Well, you've got quite a lot of lights still there. You're in Sea Point, right?
I am in Sea Point, but the lights are about to go off and I've got a whole lot of candles around me. So, yeah.
My lights are about to come on. I mean, oh, goodness gracious. How are you today?
I am actually really great. Today is actually one of my favorite days in the world. So I am just like in such high spirits and yeah, just really excited to be with you. Yeah, you look so beautiful as always.
Danke, Leafy, right back at you. I was actually just saying that we've had a conversation here before, and I think it was probably about a year ago already, if I'm correct.
I think we actually even did one, yeah, maybe like a year and a half ago. It seems like a lifetime ago, to be quite honest, because so much has happened, in between. I know both for you and I. So, yeah.
So much, like so much has happened, and so Ez and I met on a women's retreat with another friend of ours, Alexa, who I also met there. And I was going through my phone looking for some old footage and things today, and I actually found a photo with the three of us that we took at the retreat. And I was looking at all three of us, and I was like, wow, like I can like see the difference, and just like to think of like how far we've come since then. It's like we've lived a lifetime in the last 2-3 years, which I think most people probably feel that way since 2020. I think everyone feels like a lot has happened in 3 years.
Yeah, it's so amazing. It's fascinating, actually. It's like time is speeding up and slowing down at the same time. But yeah, it's really fascinating, actually.
It is, and we can actually, I know it's one of the things we're going to speak about today in any case, so we might as well jump right into it, because we're here talking about today and time and all the energetics that are happening at the moment. And you specifically asked for, well, this was one of the dates that came up, and you were like, yes, please, I want 8-8. Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah. So, okay. So Lionsgate, right? So it's basically when the sun is in Leo. And Sirius shines as the brightest star in the evening. And then you also have Orion's belt, which is all in alignment. And this opens up a really high frequency portal where we get downloads, upgrades, we get new visions. And it's such a potent time to actually manifest like our goals and our dreams. So I've been using the energy of Lionsgate for the past 3 to 4 years. And it's just been so fascinating. Like when I use this day to, really from my heart space, call in like the next level of my soul purpose, my soul service, and what I'm truly desiring, not only for myself, but for the world, is that it just manifests in so many beautiful ways. And so for the last couple of years, every evening on the 8th of the 8th, I host a dinner, I invite some friends over, we share what our prosperity goals are so that we can support each other, so that we can hold a shared vision and so that we can keep each other accountable and so forth. So I'm actually having a dinner later this evening after this call. And I'm really excited because celebration and manifestation is one of my key forms of prosperity, how I define prosperity. So to be able to like celebrate and walk a journey with other people has such deep meaning, to me.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I must say, I've also, and I think Lex also has played a big role in this for me, is to bring celebration into your life and to really own that quality, to really, hone that essence within every day, not just waiting for the super big things to happen or, the big occasions, to celebrate, but to actually have little celebrations every day. I learned this practice. I think his name, if I'm correct, I think it's Preston Smiles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know him.
Yep.
So he's been in the manifestation game, I think probably like a decade or two already. And one of his practices that he was teaching on the course that I did now was about setting an alarm on your phone for 5 times a day. And when the alarm goes off, you have to celebrate as if you have just like won the biggest thing or achieved the biggest thing or felt the most amazing. And you've literally got to like jump up, scream, dance, shout, like go full on celebration mode randomly 5 times a day when your alarm goes off. And it's been so fun to play with that energy because every time you do it, it like puts you on a little bit of a hype and a little bit of excitement. And it just like, it builds such like constructive and creative energy within you. So yeah, I absolutely love that. I know how big sharing that with people is for you as well. I know, with you and Lex creating the Modern Empress, which is all about community. It's all about bringing women together and working together. And I'm going to use that. Celebrate. The lights are on.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it as a little segue into you introducing yourself to those who might not know you yet already. And maybe just a question of, what is anything specific in your upbringing that maybe brought you to this point, and maybe around that point of the importance of having people around and celebrating and having that kind of, family to live life with?
Yeah, absolutely, Kat. So, look, I mean, I was born, I came into this world just knowing that I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to bring light, to bring love, to bring healing into the lives of somebody. So I grew up in a family where determination, generosity, making a difference was such core family values. And that I appreciate so much. As a family, we were always involved in charity work. We were always, involved with the youth in our community. And I guess a value that I grew up with, or a principle, was that whatever I get for myself is always to use the knowledge, the wisdom, and any healing that I've gained to share it with others, with those who want it and with those who need it. And so that really formed the foundation for so many things that I've done in my life. I've always been obsessed with living a life of purpose, and having meaning, deep meaning in my life. And that has kind of put me on a path where a lot of my work has has been around women's empowerment, you know, and helping women to really step up into the fullest, highest expression of themselves. You know, as we know, we come from a history where we've had to fight to get educated, we've had to fight for certain rights and so forth. You know, we come from a history where there's a lot of single mothers out there who, you know, they've had to work and strive and do so much in order just to survive. And so this was a calling that I guess grabbed me from when I was younger. When I was in college, I worked at actually a girls, it was a home for abandoned girls here in Cape Town. And in my younger 20s, I bought a finishing school franchise, and I used to work with girls in high school. And then I went on to go and start the Dream Girls Academy, which is, you know, empowered, you know, girls all across South Africa to get access to, you know, scholarships and bursaries and so forth. And then I've just been involved in, you know, women's business and so forth. So I tried to do other things, but like I kept told as like your work is here, your work is with women, because I've had to overcome so many fears, so many limitations, so many like self-doubt and self-imposed limitations, you know, and constantly had to work on, you know, my own self-worth and my own self-confidence, and seeing that, you know, even in my maternal ancestral lineage, and healing that within my family lines, and also supporting other women with that. So that's kind of where, that's a little bit about, you know, about me and what I do. And at the moment now, as you'd mentioned, Lex and I had just started the Modern Empress, which is all about supporting women on their self-leadership journey. It really is an invitation for women to rise up and say, you know what, I want to live from the highest expression of myself. I want more. I want it all. I want a beautiful life, and unapologetically so.
Oh, like I can feel you say everything. It's so beautiful. I think what stands out for me, I think the term, self-leadership, which you and Lex work with a lot, which I'm currently very much learning a lot more about myself, on the Empress course with Lex. And I think a lot of women might hear what you just said and go like, wow, that's really amazing that she's kind of always known what she needed to do, or that she feels like she has a purpose and that she's driven by something that's, really deep and meaningful. I think that might be, one of the gridlocks that a lot of women find themselves at, is like, where do I even start? Where do I start with something like self-leadership? Where do I start with finding a purpose or a goal? If it's not something that I was born with, or if it's not something that was, brought into my awareness through my family or through my culture or through my upbringing, what if I didn't have any of that? Where do I even start to go, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of having a life that doesn't serve me? Where do you even start?
Yeah. So one of the tools that we use within the Modern Empress, and this is a tool that will awaken your soul, it will illuminate your soul, what you are to bring into the world, right? So one of the tools that we use as a starting point is called the Gene Keys. And the Gene Keys is a tool that really looks at the map of your soul. So basically, when you came into this world, when your mother gave birth to you, when you took your first breath and your soul was activated, it really looks at who are you at a soul level, right? Because every single person in this world came into this world with a purpose, with a mission, with challenges, with gifts, with shadows, and all of that, and part of the purpose of life is for us to know ourselves and to grow into ourselves. So when we use tools like the Gene Keys, is that we're actually looking at the design of your soul, and we can access information around what is your purpose. So if you are completely lost, it's a beautiful way to start. And I will say that your purpose is not always what you do for your career. Your purpose is who you are. When you walk into a room, what do you bring? Do you bring radiance? Do you bring liberation? Do you bring peace? Do you bring love? Single has a quality that is so embedded in themselves. So this is a beautiful way to kind of illuminate those gifts within yourself. And often, you know, in the hustle and the bustle of life, we kind of get distracted, or you know, we get into the spin of life where we actually don't know this. And so this is one of the ways that you can really come back into your center and tap into, you know, what your qualities and your gifts are and how you are meant to serve the world. One of the principles that we have within the Modern Empress is to know yourself. And by that we mean is that we use tools like human design, gene keys, and all of the other activation tools to actually understand who you are. Because when you know who you are, you can start structuring your life, your business, your relationships, your health in a way that is so optimal to you, and that will really bring you greater fulfillment and satisfaction in your life.
Mm, mm. I love that. And I think that a lot of women don't know or have not been introduced to the idea or the concept of activation. And, you know, how do I activate? How do I even find my gifts? And so, you know, working with, I know human design has been a very big thing for me. I still have, I mean, it's such a huge thing to explore. But even the simplest of things of just finding your type. I mean, I had a beautiful gene key sessions with you and Lex as well, and it was extremely illuminating. And it's, to me, it just, you know, it really just opens your awareness. It like cracks you open to ideas and concepts and opportunities that you might not be able to almost reach if you aren't able to activate up to that level.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I wanted to ask, and we're going to go, because I know working with businesswomen is one of your fortes. I'll say hi, Josie. Working with businesswomen is one of your fortes. And so I was wondering, what would you say are the most common blocks that you find that women have? Because I know I was having Josie, who's here on the call now, is actually working with me in my business at the moment, and we're working on a project, and I was telling her, these are the 4 things that are stopping me from doing this project and getting it done. How do I problem solve for these things? And, you know, some of them were practical, some of them were personal, you know, everything is so interconnected. What would you say, and we're going to move on after this question, we're going to go into kind of the difference between being a woman who's, you know, maybe an employee, but you're a CEO, or perhaps you are the owner of your own business, which changes things up a little bit. But what would you say are maybe like 1 or 2 of the main blocks that you see that prevent women from, I know that's quite a big generalization, but that blocks women from being able to move forward and activate and upgrade and up level?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, as you know, there are general blocks, and then there are blocks, you know, that are so individualized based on our upbringing, our fears, and, you know, traumas and so forth. But I will say, so one of the blocks that I see with women is not being able to ask for help. So by that, I mean that, you know, I see a lot of women trying to do everything on their own, or trying to build their business on their own, or you know, wanting to maybe upskill themselves but not having the money, or just, and seeing all of that as blocks instead of actually just putting up their hand and asking for help. And so one of the ways, and I'll share with you, like when I was actually starting out, like my coaching, setting up my business back in 2020, a lot of the courses that I did were like international courses, or they were hosted by international coaches, and they were all priced in like dollars, that, and I had only ever earned in rands, you know. But because I knew that I had to get into that course, I had to get the skills, I would just message him and be like, listen, I've only ever earned in South African rands, would you mind giving me like a 30% discount or something? So I'd always try a way to get into that. So that's one of the common blocks where I see with women, is that instead of actually just trying to find a way to make it happen, instead of maybe just putting up their hand, asking for help, is that sometimes they limit themselves by not just taking that step. And also, I mean, if you're building your business on your own, realizing that, okay, I could do it on my own, or maybe you see someone, a friend, or, you know, someone in your social circle that could help, and just ask them, hey, can you come and help me with this? I know actually even one of the reasons why Lex and I came together is because, so as an example, so I'm a human design projector. So I don't really have a lot of energy. I've got no interest myself in like setting up the back end of a business and all of that, but I want to just show up and do my soul service work. And so, you know, instead of me like starting a business again on my own, running it on my own, you know, I actually got into a conversation with Lex and I said, okay, how can we partner up here? You know, how can we make this journey easier for each other? And I come with my background in like marketing and sales and so forth. And she's come with her background with an established coaching business. And we kind of find a way to collaborate and to make it work. And so I will say that that's, you know, one of the things where I really love to encourage women is that where you can like look for, where do you need help? And ask for help. Just reach out.
That is gold. That to me, that asking for help. I've just run a 4-week meditation course, and two of the main themes that came up for everyone was A, how difficult it is for women to ask for help, and B, the amount of times that we apologize. Those were like two of the main themes that ran throughout the 4 weeks, with journaling and with everything. But I really, really love that. And I think that it's really hard, I think, to ask for help if you don't know what you need help with. And so I think, you know, taking a few steps back to what you said earlier in knowing yourself is so important. Really taking the time to stop, to slow down, to bring in, you know, you've got the practices like the Gene Keys and the human design, but then going into other self-inquiry practices and self-study practices like yoga, like meditation, like journaling, therapy. There's so many things available. But I think if you are so caught up in your mind space, and you know, it's really hard if you are in a stress state, if you're already struggling with, if you're struggling with anxiety, if you're struggling with depression, if you're struggling with overwhelm, it can be very hard to like step back and go like, I'm going to envision my best life. But your nervous system isn't in the state to receive any of that. It's almost like how affirmations can sometimes be more harmful than helpful because your subconscious doesn't believe it. And so you're forcing this thing of like, say your affirmation is, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy, but actually you're currently dealing with a traumatic experience or a really bad environment or something like that. To constantly bring something back in. It's almost like with talk therapy where you can re-traumatize yourself. Finding practices where you are able to take a step back and go, but even if it's something small, but like, what is it that I need? Or what is it that I want? What is really going to help me step forward? And then to start to build and to have those bigger dreams, but maybe even to start like small, like, what is my wish for myself? You know, is it stability? Is it some peace? Is it energy? Is it some creativity? You know, where can I build up my own little resources within myself? And I know that you have quite a rigorous self-practice. I'd love for you to share a little bit of that, because I know, you know, you spoke earlier on about transmissions and about downloads. So maybe just offering a little to those who maybe don't understand how that works, or where do you find that moment, that space in between where, you know, for me, it's meditation and it's dreams. I'd love for you to share a little bit more about how you find that, perhaps that moment where the things do land, where you can go, that's what I need to do.
Yeah, absolutely, Catherine. That's such a good question, right? Because your life can only expand in relation to the health and stability of your nervous system. And I mean, I totally know what it's like to be so traumatized where you can't even move. Actually, for maybe even the time that we met, you know, I was still very much stuck in freeze mode, in the survival mode, you know, where I actually didn't trust myself because there were so many things or situations that happened in my life or decisions that I made in my life that got me into a place where I was really hurt and traumatized, and my health was upside down. My mental health wasn't right. And so I had to get on a path of healing myself, you know, first in order to get back to that version of myself that could have the big dreams and go after it. So I'm so glad that you raised, you know, that in this space. And, you know, the starting point for me is that at the time, I started with what I knew. I started with what I knew, and I would just pray. And I'm like, listen, God, please show me the way. I don't trust myself. I've made bad decisions. I don't know where to go. My health is upside down. I don't even know where to start, you know? And so I started honestly with prayer, and then I would listen to my intuition, and there were like very specific points where my intuition would be like, okay, go see that person, go see that person, go for the Reiki, go for that breath work, go and like, you know, go to the women's retreat, you know?
Yeah.
So coming back and creating a place of like stillness for yourself, and in whichever way that is, like going to walk on a beach, spending moments in or time in solitude, meditating, praying, and just listen to that inner voice. There were many times actually when I even, you know, couldn't sleep at night, and I would be on Instagram, and all of a sudden something would pop up and it would lead me to exactly the course or the masterclass or the teaching that would help me. And just like that, I started taking one step in front of the other, one step in front of the other. And yeah, found myself in, you know, studying Reiki. I then discovered human design, which put a lot in perspective for me in terms of my energy. Started doing Kundalini yoga, which was really key for me in uplifting my consciousness and healing my endocrine system. And then started learning about like DNA activation. And yeah, I took all these steps. I've also done trauma release exercises. And I will say, you know, is that the work hasn't really stopped, because even now with where I'm at, even with being happy and healthy, with where I want to go, like every next level is going to demand a whole other version of yourself. Is that I'm still having to look like, okay, what am I investing in this quarter in terms of my health and my well-being? And so right now I'm investing a lot in connecting with my femininity, sensuality, sensual dance. I'm doing a little bit of tantra.
Yes.
No, because I've spent so much time in my life living in my masculine, and now I'm learning to really connect with my feminine. So I think, you know, not everyone has the resources to always invest in themselves at that level. But what I will say, just start small. There's always something small that you can do, and with intention, just keep on putting one foot, you know, in front of the other.
Absolutely. I love that. And I mean, it's something that I've always admired of you. I even remember when we met on the retreat, I think you were offering Reiki to, I think, was it Lex? I can't even remember who it was.
Yeah.
Yes. And just always seeing how you have been very devoted to those practices. And because you've seen how it works, you know, when you put things into practice, it's something that I say to my clients all the time is there is no quick fix in this. It's a long-term thing. It's a bigger picture thing. It's really like expanding beyond the idea of just trying to keep yourself like right here and being like, oh, I'm okay, like I'm sleeping okay, I'm doing okay, I'm in a pretty good mood, you know, like moving beyond that average. And I think that's one of the things I really love about the programs that you offer and the energy in it, is it's not looking to just take you to here, like it's looking to take you like way beyond you could even ever almost imagine. And it really resonates with me, you know, and you working with yoga as well, is that yoga really works with the spectrum of going from being like in an average state, whether that's, you know, your mental health, your energetics, your emotional health, your general well-being, and taking you into how do we thrive? How do we now really go from I'm doing good to I'm doing amazing, yet and doing it in a way where you say, like, you know, I really am actually taking a step back and going to my feminine. How do I not only activate and be an active participant in this, but then also be able to sit back and receive everything that is coming my way? I feel like that can almost be a block sometimes as well, is that we almost open the portal, we open the opportunity, and then there are all those things like the self-doubt, the self-sabotage, the fear, and everything that comes in that can almost block that opportunity again. I want this to kind of lead on to a topic that I would love for you to chat about, in the sense of, if we look at women in work, in business, so whether it's someone who owns their own business or a woman who is employed but is like absolutely like killing it, smashing it. Like if I look at my sister and myself, we're so different. I own a yoga business and my sister is like super high up in an advertising company, and she's like kicking ass, taking names, like loving it, thriving. I'm doing the same. So very different. What is your, because you've worked with women in different fields, I'd love to hear, like, what is your feeling around maybe the difference in mindset for women who are an employee or are an entrepreneur in this sphere of being able to move yourself forward?
Mm. Yes, I'll say, you know, whether you are an employee or whether you are an entrepreneur, you have the ability to be forward thinking, to be ambitious if that is what you want, to bring fulfillment into your life. If you are an employee and you go and work at a company that aligns with your vision and your values and has a great team spirit, and yay, that's for you, then, you know, why not? Because the reality of the matter is that not every person on this planet can thrive as an entrepreneur, because there's different skill sets. Some of us are meant to work literally in big groups of people. Some of us are meant to work in small units, and some of us are meant to work alone, right? So even when you are employed, you can still have an entrepreneurial mindset and you can have a growth mindset. So it is, you know, whatever you desire from your career as an entrepreneur or as an employee, you get to create that. And that is something that I'd really love to share, particularly with women who are still working in corporate. You know, if you ask yourself, what do I need in order to show up as the highest version of myself in my place of work? And really get radically honest with yourself and jot those things down. And if you need to, you know, go to your manager and maybe renegotiate your working terms. That is something that I did. Like, I mean, I still have one foot in corporate. I work my own hours. I don't take meetings before 12 p.m., you know, because I looked at it and I was like, okay, what do I need in order to like thrive in this space? And if you are working at a company where that is not an option for you, then go and find a brand or a company where you resonate with their mission and their vision and their values, and that has the working type of environment that you want. But, you know, in simple form, whether you're an entrepreneur or you are a leader in corporate, both are opportunities for you to show up as the highest expression of yourself.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'd love for you to chat a little more to those who are listening, a little bit more, and I think you can almost tie this into chatting a little bit about your offerings, and how, and it's something that I have really seen over the last couple of years, and really building my business also, same as you, from 2020, and looking at how separated aspects of my life were. So there's like, I've got my, you know, the spiritual Kathleen, and then I've got the Kathleen who works, and then I've got the Kathleen who has the friends, and then I've got this, and really starting to integrate that, and starting to put starting to put words like money and spirit in one sentence, starting to put words like spirituality and career in one sentence. these aren't things that have ever really been done or encouraged. And I know that that's something that, you know, modern Empress is like so forward on, and going like, bring it all together, because ultimately that is the manifestation, is all of it. So I'd love for you to speak a little bit about that topic, and then perhaps let it lead you in a little to your offerings.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, you know what? At the Modern Empress, we all about building a beautiful life. Understanding that your life is made up of your business, your purpose, your relationships, your health, your well-being. And to your point, Kathleen, it's because, especially for women, because we hold so many roles and because we play such an influential role in society, that we've got this beautiful ability to multitask, right? That our brains are and our emotions are all like this, right? So to bring it all together and say, okay, right, what do I need in order to create the life of my dreams? And it doesn't have to be something that's so far off, like for me and Lex as an example, spaciousness and well-being is a priority. So even when we work with women, we're looking at what is important to you. So how we design our businesses, we look at, okay, what spaciousness do I desire? What well-being do I desire? How do I desire my days to look? And then we work backwards and then create the business around that. So it's very much creating a business from the inside out, based on our purpose and based on what we desire to fulfill our lives. And so our business and our life isn't really separate, but it is a space for us to, you know, whether you're putting your spirituality practices first and then seeing to yourself as a priority first in the day, and then going into your work day, being of service to others, being of purpose. And yeah, and talking about money as well. I mean, money it's a tool to empower us to be of service, to live the life of our dreams. And so part of our journey has also been developing a healthy relationship with the resources that is required in order to help us, you know, show up as, you know, in our optimal form. So I will say one of our offerings, I mean, I'd love to invite ladies to come and join us in the Empress Emporium. I mean, you are part of, it's absolutely free to join, because we wanted to create a space just for women to come celebrate, connect with each other, because that's the other key thing when it comes to going after what it is that you want, to surround yourself with people who are on the same mission, who have the same vision, who can support you, because on days when you are feeling down and out, right, you've got the energy of the group that can carry you forward. So that is our first space. We every month we host abundance vortex calls, and this is where we literally come together to call in our next level of abundance, and abundance in all forms, not only, you know, financial forms, but whatever that means to you. And then our core offering at the moment is our Empress Activation. So this is a 90-minute session with both Lex and I. And whether you are feeling blocked or stuck in your business or in your life, or you want to actually amplify your purpose or expand your legacy, this is a session where we really activate you into your power, into your gifts. We call forward your gifts, and we show you how to apply it to your business, to your life, to your relationships, so that you can create more fulfillment for yourself. And so we do these Empress activations. And what's so beautiful about having both Lex and I there is that we've got completely different makeups. So we actually being able to hold up a mirror for you to see yourself in your true power. You know, and when you remember who you are, you can really start making empowered decisions about your life and your business moving forward.
I mean, I cannot recommend it enough. I if I think back to the call that we had, it's the way that the work that you ladies are doing is just, it's so important. Like everyone I know, I'm just like I keep telling people, just sign up for a call, just go do an activation call, just go and experience it, because the energy that you bring through is just so amazing. It's so unique, but it's the least judgmental space I've like ever like been a part of. Especially, I think, you know, it's something we talk a lot about as women, like how are we celebrating one another, how are we holding each other up, being in a space. When I started on the course with Lex in May already, I remember being on one of the first calls and having to share something or talk about my business or something, and I could literally like see myself on the screen, like how small I was, and like really talking softly, and you know, and like over the last couple of weeks having built such amazing friendships with these women by just seeing that there's nothing to be afraid of, there's no one to be afraid of, it's just simply pure love.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I really just respect and admire so much about the work you do. I know you are also still working with private clients. I don't know how much capacity you have
Yeah.
at the moment.
We do private clients as well. So ideally you'd start with an Empress activation, and then for those who actually want to continue with private coaching and mentoring, we actually start a journey with them, diving into each of your gene keys. I will also just say that within your gene keys, you've got 4. So everybody has 4 qualities that really activates their next levels of prosperity. So when we work in a private mentorship container, we look at your purpose gene keys, we look at your prosperity codes, and yeah, and so it really is quite a transformative journey.
I think I'm going to have to get you back on here to chat a little bit more about the gene keys in detail, because there's so much around that, or maybe even just like a human design 101. I would love for you to share any last little pearls of wisdom that you have for anyone out there who's watching this right now, who's going, wow, like this sounds really great, but like maybe still feeling like I'm not sure where to start. Like, what would you advise is like, you know, maybe they someone who doesn't have the resources to sign up for a coach or whatever the case might be. What is something really, 1 or 2 things really simple that someone can start with to start making these changes?
Yeah. So the first suggestion that I'm going to give is like, come and join us in the Empress Emporium. That is a community space for like-hearted women. We are really all about celebrating you. We all about, just being so true and authentic. And that alone, just being in a space where you can be witnessed, where you can be seen, where you can be held, where you can be supported, where you can be celebrated, is a game changer. And it's, I've been part of so many women's communities, and it just elevates you in a way that you can't even explain. So if you're someone who are just starting out, or you don't know where to start, or you don't have the resources to invest in yourself, come and be a part of the community. Or even look, there are other, women's communities out there that are free that you can join. Just surround yourself with sisters who on a similar path as you. So that's what I'll say. And then the second thing is, I will say that there are a lot of amazing free resources on the internet. I mean, I remember a time where, I was so broke. I had lost everything in my life, and I had to start from scratch. I literally started with like all of the free resources I could find on the internet. So YouTube, listening to binaural beats, listening to, some of the affirmations did help me at the time. A lot of coaches have free offerings. So going on Instagram, finding a coach that you like, jump into their free offering or their free training. And with that information alone, I kind of got myself into a place where I'm like, okay, right, now I can start, investing in myself and so forth. So there's a lot of free resources out there. Just look for it, follow your intuition, be guided, and surround yourself with women who support where you're going.
Thank you so much, Ez. I'm going to remember that. Surround yourself with sisters. I think that like needs to be put somewhere, definitely. Thank you so much for putting this time aside this evening. I know you've got a very exciting dinner waiting for you after this. And I hope you're feeling really uplifted and energized for this conversation. You've shared so much. Thank you very much. This is going to go on the podcast. So that should be live in, I think it's like 24, 48 hours. So as soon as that is out, I will share the links. And other than that, those that are here live and have stayed with for the conversation, thank you so much. Please feel free to reach out to me, to reach out to Ez. You can send either of us a DM at any point. If you want him to join the Modern Empress community, just pop Ez a DM. She will get you the links. I'll also, what do you call it? Tag the Instagram account in the notes. And other than that, we've been going for almost 50 minutes again. These talks go so quickly. But thank you so much, Ez. That was really, really great. And just, you are a super, super, super special woman on this planet. And I feel so blessed and so honored to know you. I wish I could see you more often in person, but at least we always remain connected. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Lionsgate evening.
Thank you so much, Kath. I love you so much. I love all the work that you do. And I'm just excited for all that is unfolding. And yeah, thank you for having me on your show. It's been such an honor. So thank you so much. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Babes, lots of love. Have a beautiful evening. Such a pleasure. Thank you to everyone who's been here. And so, Caroline, it feels so good to connect. So good to connect, Caroline. Thank you so much for joining. Have a beautiful evening, everyone. And I'll see you all either here or on the mat or somewhere else, I'm sure. Lots of love, and we'll chat soon.
Bye.